What's up, YouTube Gen X? Alright, this is like a part two to the video I just did. Don't blame me. Mommy and daddy never let you date. And in that video I talked about how I disqualify the complaints that I get from black women that have come from two-parent households where mom and dad are definitely there and they're playing the roles of the parent. And they've kind of come from that home, that functional black home that we say isn't there. So it's like the chick who grew up like the Cosbys, right? So it's the Vanessas of the world, those sort of black women from the world who were complaining. And in that video I was talking about how, you don't have the same background that a lot of women say they have in terms of not knowing your father, not knowing what, how love is supposed to be, and not knowing how a woman can still keep her power but still work within a family system, in terms of not having the brother who's doing well and the uncles that are doing well. Like, you're saying that you're part of that, but it's kind of like, no, like, you saw it all. You saw that ideal utopian sort of black family, so I really can't field your complaints. A lot of the times it's either because you're just trying to lie, you're trying to hide, and I've said this before about how you'll have certain black women that will act like they're, this sort of black woman from that background where it's this matriarchy and there literally is no productive black men for like 100 miles either direction, right? And you'll try to link on to them because they kind of have that excuse to hide your bad behavior, right? Or you'll have the chicks where it's just like, listen, your parents never let you date. You can't blame the men. Your parents just never let you understand what it truly meant. So definitely check that video out. But like I said, in that video, I kind of touched on how if I got, 100 complaints a day, only 5 of them or 7 of them would actually be accepted. So if I had a journal, only 5 of them would be, published. The other 93, 95% would be returned. And I wanted to talk about the other complaints that I return. I'll get women that do the overkill. They'll talk about what they have going on, and it's like, okay, you check out, okay, you're family oriented, good age, no kids, and like they'll paint this picture, and it's like, pink elephant, why am I single? And then they do the overkill. Then they'll give me that physical description, and it's kind of like, oh, they'll paint this picture, and I look like, Lauren London or something on that tip where it's just like, okay, you're pretty much saying that, you're mixed. And I love the whole Creole little bit that women love throwing in. They don't want to say, certain women won't tell you if they're mixed with white, but, if they're mixed with Native American or something else, they'll put that up there, and it's kind of like, and, this is how I look like, and, this is my body, this, and the third, and I don't have a man, and it's kind of like, I'm disqualifying you because historically, you fall under that category of black women that have been checked for. Like, you're complaining, but the other black women are complaining because the men are going for you. So you're getting the love. You're getting the attention. Like, I understand when the Pams of the world get mad, and I'm talking about Pam from Martin. I truly do, in terms of, the women that are definitely attractive, okay? But because of, what has happened in terms of the black standard of beauty historically, they're kind of written off. Right, so it's like the backup dancer or the backup singer, right? You ever watch like a concert where there's Janet Jackson or Beyonce or whoever, and you're looking at the backup singers or dancers, it's kind of like, yo, they're cute, but how much attention are they getting? I understand those women who complain. I truly do, because it's kind of like, yeah, right? And I'll be the first one to admit about how even I kind of threw those women away, and on some like, well, you don't fit this sort of mold. You don't fit this sort of skin complexion and hair texture and whatnot, and I'm going to keep it real with y'all. So I completely understand. And I do have a soft spot for those women who can legitly argue their case, because I know historically what it's been like. But for women who come on And it's just like you've been the chick that has been historically checked for, right? You know, you were the girl in middle school that all the guys wanted to dance with. You know, before dudes hit puberty, they were writing you love letters in elementary school. Like, you were that chick. So your complaints, I can't validate. I mean, and I'll make this point again. Women who fall under that standard, that look that the men say they like, right? The women that fall under that standard and are single don't implicate the men. Because, and you know, and gotta be kidding me, she'll even confirm this one, and she'll talk about how, yeah, if you're that attractive woman, men will even allow for more. So a lot of that, man, you know, she can't be this, she can't be that. Let her show up and be highly attractive, and she's younger. You know, it's a, you know, different ball game, right? You know, and as much as dudes may get upset, but let Montana De Leon be, you know, 7 years younger and only have 1 or 2 kids, and, you know, dudes will be all over that, right? Simply because of the pass that men give to women, yes, when they fit that sort of typical look that they like. So in terms of y'all women complaining, in terms of the ones that fall under that sort of look that the men say that they like, you're not making black men look bad. You know, you tried to do the whole overkill, but it kind of blew up in your face. So when I get your application and you send me your headshot to, you know, reinforce how poorly black men are doing, I'm like, you shot yourself in the foot. You're better off not giving me a headshot. You're better off not telling me how you look, right? Because now I have, the, you know, the information that I need to properly look at your application, and you get a denied. I noticed that it's either one of the 4 things, and they're not mutually exclusive, but it's one of the 4. You know, when you have the women that fall under that look, right? You know, that look that black women get mad at in terms of what black men go for. You know, when they do, quote unquote, you know, mess with black women, they only tend to choose this type. You know, when you fall under this type category, and you don't necessarily have the man you're complaining about it, it's always one of the 4. 1, you have a kid, or multiple kids, probably even multiple. Because like I said, you know, with that whole Montana De Leon thing, you know, let you still be bad, but only have maybe 1 or possibly even 2. A lot of brothers that, you know, would reconsider. I'm not saying that they would choose her, but they would have a very long week, like going over, you know, should I call this chick or should I not call her, right? It'll be very difficult for them to throw you away, but chances are that there's probably kids there, and you know how black women are. They'll act as if kids aren't big of a deal. You know, oh, what color is your hair? My hair is black. What color are your eyes? My, you know, my eyes are brown. How many kids do you have? Oh, I have 2 kids, as if it's not that big of a deal, right? You know, what do you prefer, Pepsi or Coke? What do you prefer, kids or women with kids or no kids? Like, it's more than that. So you probably have that going on, right? 2, age, and I'll do a video on this later on, but you can be bad. You know, I have a soft spot for women that are older who are just, you know, on point, because typically that's not how it's supposed to look. I won't even lie to you, right? You know, I do have a weak spot for older women, you know, like that whole mid, late 30s, and they're still banging. I truly do. Like that, you know, on that teacher, you know, that teacher you always had a crush on sort of dynamic. Like, I have a soft spot for that. I can't lie to you. But with that being said, you, as good as you look, if I'm this sort of young man who wants this family, you're not an option. You know, and this is one of the reasons why I stay away from, you know, this whole let's do a partner sort of blog talk radio show, because I don't want to hear a whole bunch of women who are in their mid-30s who are saying they're doing all the things that black men want, but at the end of the day, you still can't give that man 3 to 4 kids, right? So you have that going on, and you're going to get disqualified. 3, and I don't know, maybe this is, you know, one of the more popular ones, is when it comes to supporting yourself, you're not getting it done. Right? Like I said before, go to any hood or any inner city and you're seeing a whole bunch of black women who are light-skinned and they're mixed with Native American and they're Creole and they have French in their blood, but they're still there because they're financial liability. Not only are they not making money, but they don't know how to manage the money that they have. I laugh when I see, well-dressed women in the hood, and it's kind of like, or in that lower income environment, because it's like, where do you have the money? No one's saying that you should be looking like a hot mess, but you're a little bit too done up. So where are you getting this money, and why are you spending on stuff that you don't need? Right? Or you'll get the chick who's living in the hood or the lower income area, and she's driving like a C-Class or something. She'll get the used Range Rover. I've seen a couple of the used Porsche SUVs. What are they called? The Cayennes or whatever they call. Porsche has that little mini SUV. I've seen a couple of those driving around because they have the new model out, right? So they got like the '02 model, and it's kind of like, you're not showing that you're quality. You're pretty much showing me that you don't know how to manage your money, right? So that whatever money that you do have, you're blowing it. And it's typically, the hairdresser who is doing that shit, and then all of a sudden business goes down and she can't afford her shit, right? Then you get the whole, can you pay my bills? Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my my automobile bills or something like that? Whatever that song was about. And it's kind of like, yeah, you're a liability, right? No one is saying that you should be living like a hot mess or you should be driving like a bucket, but I'm not going to choose you because clearly making money and money management isn't what you can do, and that definitely is a liability. So you have women that will get thrown out because of that. And number 4, you probably may have unrealistic standards, because the vast majority of men are probably going to be checking for you. But if you seem to not find one and you fall under that category of what the men have said, this is what we definitely like, you probably want something that's not there. You'll have the chicks who will say, I don't want the Tupac with the degree. Okay, but you want the LeBron James or the Kobe Bryant who, is a doctor. So you may not want the thug, but you'll want this sort of super masculine, unrealistic sort of dude to be there. And it's kind of like, it's not going to happen that way. It's just like me saying, I want the Lauren London or Beyonce who's like the school teacher or the nurse who would prefer to not go to the club but sit at home and watch a Harry Potter marathon. Right? Like that's like me saying that, and it's like, that shit is not real. It doesn't exist. Right? So even if you did find that sort of chick physically, is she going to be what you want outside of the physical realm? No, she's not. So that's probably another problem. Time after time, you'll see the women, and especially black women, who don't understand that it's just not realistic. I think one of the lessons that both men and women learn is that what you truly like physically may not be what you need practically or rationally or logically. So that is a part of our growth. Like I said before, I understand that I need to be checking for not the girl on stage in terms of who has the spotlight on her, but the backup dancers and the backup singers. Those are the women that I have to be checking for, because realistically, those are the women that can provide for me what I'm looking for logically. And physically. Like I said, Pam was attractive, but we know that Pam didn't get the proper attention because she didn't fit that stereotype. Right? How many jobs, even in real Hollywood, and what's her name, Tanisha Arnold or something like that, how many jobs did she probably get passed up on because she didn't fit that sort of look that the black woman is supposed to have in terms of when she's seen as the object of affection, right? So you probably have that going on. And probably number 4 is the case for a lot of y'all in regards to you wanting something that is only partially there. So he has the looks down, but in terms of everything else, it's just not going to happen. And you're not willing to be an adult and make that adult move and understand that what you may like may not be what's best for you. So at the end of the day, like I said, when I get those complaints and they want to do the overkill with how they look, right, and they want to highlight the fact that they have Native American in them, or they're mixed, or they're Creole, or they have Filipino in them or whatnot, it's kind of like you get a rejection because historically you fall under what the men have been saying or have been choosing, right? You are the black woman that the other women complain about. So that's my video. Take it easy.